For today's video, we're going to make a Christmas card using the pattern feature and layer styles features in Photoshop. So to begin, we're going to make our pattern. To make our pattern, we're going to start with File, New, and in our new dialog box, we don't need to worry about the name of the file. We want to set our size to 1 inch. Or this would also be, if you are set on pixels, it would be 300 pixels by 300 pixels. And then I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I also want to make sure my resolution is 300 pixels per inch. And that's going to give me a nice little square. And I think for my card I'd like to make a candy cane stripe background, so I'm going to use my shape tool and I'm going to choose a red. And you may get a slightly different dialog box because I know you're using an older version of Photoshop. I happen to be in Photoshop CC or Photoshop Creative Cloud, the newest version. For the most part, everything will be exactly the same. I'm going to go ahead and draw some shapes. I'm going to get rid of this little properties box that pops up. Draw some stripes. You will not have a property box that pops up when you do this. That's a feature that's new to Creative Cloud. And I'm just going to put some stripes in here. Sorry about that box. We'll get rid of it. And once I have a pattern that I'm happy with, I'm going to use Command, or the Control key and the letter A. This is going to select all. I can also choose that from the menu. Up at the Select button, select all. And that's going to put these little marching ants around the box. And I'm going to go up to Edit, and I'm going to choose Define Pattern. And I'm going to call this Candy Cane Stripes. Candy Cane Stripes. And once I have a pattern I like, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now this pattern could be anything. It doesn't have to be stripes. It could be polka dots. It could be, when we were in class we used a candle. It could be anything you wanted. And now I'm going to make a new document, File, New, and this time under Preset I'm going to choose Photo, and I'm going to choose Portrait 4x6. And this is going to give me a document that's 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall at 300 pixels per inch so that I can print it out for a Christmas card if I want to. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now I'm going to come down to this little yin-yang button right at the bottom of my Layers panel. If you can't find your Layers panel, your panels always live under Window. So here's our Layers panel. We'll also be using our Styles panel and our Character panel in this assignment. So I'm going to click on this little button at the bottom of my Layers panel. I think it looks like a yin-yang. It's half black and half white. And when I click on this, it's going to give me a whole list of options of different types of layers I can make. I want a pattern layer. And by default, it's going to bring up the pattern we just made. I can reduce the size of that pattern or enlarge the size of that pattern depending on what my preference is. I think 100% is just fine. And now I'm going to get a graphic that I found earlier on Clicker. Actually, this one came from Open Clip Art. And I'm going to drag that. I may have to select it over here. It's not playing nice. Okay, so I'll just copy it. When all else fails, you can just make it work. In this case, I'm right-clicking to copy the image. And I'm going to come back to Photoshop and I'm going to do Edit, Paste. And there's our little bear. I'm going to make him a little bigger. I'm using Show Transform Controls to make my bear bigger. And in this case I have a funny black background. I think I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to use a layer mask. We used these in an earlier assignment. And I'm going to select this black area with my magic wand tool. Oh, too much black. Well, I'll just paint it out really quick. When all else fails, just keep working. We have lots and lots of tools in Photoshop, and one of the reasons for that is so that if we have problems, we can fix them easily. So I'm just going to quick paint out the black area around my bear. And once I'm happy with that, I can move on to the next step. So now you can see that I've got our bear all masked out so that we only have the areas that we want are showing. I need to switch that. We'll paint that out really quick. There's one little line there that's bugging me. And now we need to add our greeting. So to add our greeting, we're going to use our text tool. The text tool looks like a T. And I'm going to go ahead and type Merry, oh no, I think I'll type Merry Christmas. And to start with, my text is very small. It's right down there. I'm going to use the character panel. I can find the character panel if I have my text tool. I can pop it up. It's this little button that looks like a file, and it'll bring it up. Or if I can't find it, it might be under Window, and I can get it there as well. So I'm going to change my typeface. All I have to do is make sure I have the type layer selected. I don't have to actually have my type tool even. I can just have the type layer selected. And then I can change my type and change the size of my type until I'm happy with it. I think I might put these on 2 layers. Now I'm going to grab my text tool and click right in between the words and hit enter so that it says Merry Christmas. Maybe I'll move my bear up a little bit. Now the last step for our assignment this week is to add a layer style to our text. And we're going to do that with this little FX button. When I click on this button, my list is going to come up in a different order than yours. That has to do with the difference in versions, but all the same options are there. And mine's not going to show up where you can see it. So I'm going to just choose from that list, I'm going to choose the word drop shadow. And it's going to bring up this dialog box. And this dialog box has all kinds of options for adding what we call a layer style to our text. I can add a stroke, that's an outline around, and the thing that's important about this dialog box is to know that I have to click on this option. The option I want has to be highlighted in blue or I won't get the right settings on this side. So I want to add a white stroke around my text. Notice now right down here that there's a little bit of white around the edge, and as I make it larger it shows up more. And I think I would like to give my text a slightly bigger drop shadow, and I think I would like to make my text green. So I'm going to click color overlay, and then I'm going to click in the color box, and I'm going to come right over here and get the green out of my bear. Notice I get an eyedropper. And I think I'd like to give it a bevel. So this is going to make it look 3-dimensional. And you can just play with these to your heart's content. And once you're happy with what you've got, you're going to go ahead and click OK. Now notice I have green text with a white outline and a drop shadow. And now I can save my assignment, File, Save, and I'm just going to call it Christmas card. Put it right there in your folder. And that's all there is to this week's assignment. I can't wait to see what you come up with. We'll see you in class. Have a great day.